this is going to be about mindset and perception and prepping and survival. So last night my outside freezer died. Actually, I think it died a couple days ago, but there was so much ice in it that it's still cold, and I didn't notice it until last night. And I was pissed. I was really pissed. But then it doesn't do any good to be pissed off, because it's like, all right, well, what is the lesson here? What is God or the universe or whatever you want to call it? What's it trying to teach me right now? Why is this for my benefit? And I got to thinking, what happens if the power goes out? What happens if you can't run your freezers? So I've been in a panic trying to figure out what to do, trying to find a new freezer, and finding gratitude in the situation that it's happening now before some kind of emergency or shit hitting the fan scenario. I'm grateful that I have money to go get something else. And it really got me thinking, you don't want to keep stuff in the freezer. That is not a good place to stockpile things. This has pushed me over the edge to really get brave and just start canning everything: meat, butter, rice, beans. Not that was in the freezer, but I'm realizing that you need to have dried goods, freeze-dried and dehydrated stuff, and canned goods. Because if you don't have a generator to run your freezer, and you've got a freezer full of meat, which I do, like a 17 cubic foot freezer full of meat, what do? I didn't have enough room in the inside freezer for everything. I cleared out in there what I could. So I'm also seeing it like, well, I guess God was like, you need to clean out your freezer and get rid of this shit that you don't eat. Make way for stuff that you do eat. Start figuring out how to prepare things in other ways so that it has a longer shelf life. And if say the grid were to collapse, then you don't have to worry about it. Keep the stuff in your freezer that you can, quickly eat, or have another way to preserve it quickly, like salting, canning, dehydrating. Dehydrating is not quick, and if the power's out, you can't use your dehydrator. So you want to do that stuff now while you still have access to power, because I don't know if you've seen, but the World Economic Forum sure likes to do their predictive programming, and they had their cyber polygon test run, game, whatever you want to call it, and they're predictively programming everybody about blackouts, grid down, cyber attacks. And so we can just pray for the best, prepare for the worst. And when shit starts going sideways in your life, don't just go on a rampage and just be pissed off. I mean, it's okay to be pissed, but then take pause and ask yourself, okay, what could this be for? How is this a benefit for me? Why is this happening for me instead of to me? What lessons are there in this? Because that shifts everything, and just be okay with things as they are. And I just kept the faith that I'm going to find a new freezer. Not brand new, but I found one used that I'm picking up today. And it's actually bigger than the one I have, which is nice. But then, again, I don't want to keep even more things in the freezer that I'm going to not be able to do anything with if an emergency happens. So these are things to keep in mind. I highly recommend freeze drying, dehydrating, canning, and really learning how to do that stuff now while you can, because in the heat of the moment, when you're stressed, is not the time to be learning how to do something like this. You want to practice now. You want to get your garden going now, because again, number one, food does not grow overnight, and number two, it's all about energy. So if you are stressed out and trying to grow food, I believe you'll have a harder time doing that versus now when you're relaxed and you can put love and that positive energy into your garden versus the urgency and the panic and the need. So start a garden. However you can. You can grow stuff in windowsills, on porches. You could grow things that might be beneficial for trading. Get creative. There's vertical gardening. And just always be mindful of your emotions and feelings, and stop thinking that things are happening to you, but rather they're happening for you. And there's always a purpose. There's always a purpose for everything that happens.